storm on Kepler 442b raged outside the reinforced walls of Outpost 7, its crimson dust clouds swirling like angry ghosts against the viewport. Inside, the mess hall buzzed with the usual evening chatter, until Commander Vexthor slammed a data tablet onto the central table, silencing every conversation. "Someone," the Krillian commander growled, his four eyes narrowing at the assembled crew, "wants to explain this battle log?" Arya froze mid-bite, her fork hovering over her protein ration. Across from her, Jasper's face had gone pale, his typically easy smile nowhere to be found. The rest of the outpost's defenders, a motley collection of species from across the Galactic Coalition, leaned in with curiosity. "What battle log?" asked Lieutenant Sora, her avian features tilting with interest. Vexthor's mandibles clicked in frustration. "The one that appeared in our database 3 cycles ago. The one labeled Operation Crimson Dawn. The one that details a single soldier extraction mission that resulted in 47 enemy casualties, the destruction of a Zarathi battle cruiser, and the rescue of 12 Coalition prisoners." He paused, his gaze sweeping the room. "The one we all agreed was obviously fabricated." Arya kept her expression carefully neutral, but her heart hammered against her ribs. She'd been so careful, so incredibly careful. "Commander," Jasper interjected smoothly, leaning back in his chair. "We already discussed this. Some bored tech probably generated it as a joke. Humans are weird like that. No offense, Arya." "None taken," she murmured, finally setting down her fork. "That's what I thought too," Vexthor continued, his voice dangerously quiet, "until I cross-referenced the timestamp with our satellite feeds." He tapped the tablet and a holographic projection bloomed above the table. "This is surveillance footage from Sector 9, timestamp matching the battle log exactly." The hologram showed a barren landscape, similar to Kepler 442b's surface. Then movement, a single figure in light armor moving with impossible speed and precision. The crew watched in stunned silence as the figure systematically dismantled an entire Zarathi forward position. "Enhance Quadrant 4, Vexthor commanded. The image zoomed, and there, clear as starlight, was a face. Arya's face. The mess hall erupted. "No way, that's impossible. She's been here for 3 months and never—" "Silence!" Vexthor's roar cut through the chaos. His 4 eyes fixed on Arya, who sat perfectly still, her expression unreadable. "Recruit, Arya, explain." Jasper opened his mouth to intervene, but Arya gently placed a hand on his arm, shaking her head. She stood slowly, every eye in the room tracking her movement. "The log is accurate," she said simply. "Accurate?" Lieutenant Sora's crest feathers stood on end. "You single-handedly destroyed a battle cruiser. Technically, I had help from their own munitions depot. I just redirected the explosion. You killed 47 Zarathi soldiers?" This from Ensign Druk, a massive Kronar whose species prided themselves on martial prowess. 46. Arya corrected quietly. One was already deceased when I arrived. The room fell silent again, but this time the quality of the silence had changed. It was heavier, charged with a mixture of awe and something that might have been fear. Vexthor's mandibles worked soundlessly for a moment before he found his voice. "You've been here for 3 months. You filed your service record as a logistics coordinator. You bake cookies for the night shift. You help Ensign Druk with his daughter's homework packets." His voice rose with each statement. "You're the sweetest, most unassuming member of this entire outpost." "Yes, sir," Arya said calmly. "Why didn't you tell us you were a one-woman army?" For the first time, Arya's composure cracked slightly. She glanced at Jasper, who gave her an encouraging nod, then back to the commander. "Because I didn't want to be that anymore," she said softly. "I've spent 5 years as a special operations asset. 5 years of dropping into impossible situations, completing impossible missions, and watching people look at me like I was either a weapon or a monster. When my tour ended, I requested the most remote, boring posting in the Coalition. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to make friends, bake cookies, help with homework. I wanted to be Arya, not the Reaper of Kandor or whatever they were calling me." She looked down at her hands, small, delicate hands that didn't look like they could field strip a plasma rifle in 14 seconds or snap a Zarathi warrior's neck. "The battle log was supposed to be sealed," she continued. "It shouldn't have been in the database. Someone must have missed it during the data transfer." Jasper stood, moving to her side. "I knew," he said, addressing the room. "She told me 2 months ago." I'm the one who convinced her that her past didn't define her, that she could be whoever she wanted to be here. And who is that? Vexthor asked, his tone softer now. Arya met his gaze steadily. I'm the person who volunteers for double shifts when someone's sick. I'm the person who remembers everyone's birthday. I'm the person who wants to help protect this outpost. Not because I'm some legendary soldier, but because you're my friends. My family. Lieutenant Sora was the first to move, her chair scraping as she stood. She walked around the table and, to everyone's surprise, pulled Arya into a fierce hug. Your cookies are still terrible, she said, her voice thick with emotion. But there are terrible cookies. One by one, the rest of the crew stood, gathering around. Ensign Drook's booming laugh broke the tension. Well, he rumbled, at least now I don't feel bad about losing at combat training. I thought I was getting soft. You were, Arya said, a genuine smile finally breaking through. But I can help with that if you want. Vexthor cleared his throat, drawing their attention. His expression was complicated, part exasperation, part admiration, part something that might have been pride. Your secret is safe here, he said firmly. As far as the coalition is concerned, you're still logistics coordinator Arya, baker of mediocre cookies and helper of homework. He paused. But if the Zarathi ever attack this outpost, I'm putting you on the front line. Fair enough? Arya agreed. As the crew gradually returned to their meals and conversations, now significantly more animated, Jasper leaned close to Arya. Feel better? He asked quietly. She looked around at the faces of her friends, no longer hiding who she was, no longer afraid of being seen as just a weapon. The relief was almost overwhelming. Yeah, she whispered. I really do. Outside. The storm continued to rage, but inside Outpost 7, Arya had finally found what she'd been searching for. A place where she could be both the warrior she'd been trained to be and the woman she wanted to become. And if that meant occasionally admitting that yes, she could destroy a battlecruiser with her eyes closed, well, that was a small price to pay for belonging. The next morning, when she arrived at the mess hall with a fresh batch of cookies, no one mentioned the battle log, but everyone made sure to thank her, and several asked if she'd teach them some basic self-defense moves. Arya smiled, passing around the cookies, and agreed. After all, that's what family did. They learned from each other, protected each other, and never let a fake battle log ruin a perfectly good friendship.